Good morning, everyone. My name is Limor Nakar-Vincent, and I work for the Bird Foundation. We are a U.S.-Israel organization that fund collaboration between Israeli and American companies. And in the last year, thanks to Yaki, I started working and focusing on EdTech, trying to promote more partnerships between Israeli and American companies and EdTech technologies, and had an amazing journey meeting this fantastic woman and additional people who are doing an amazing job. So, because we don't really have so much time, I'll skip on reading the bios of this inspiring and motivating women that you will hear from them in a short. And I'd like to start talking about the subject which really is close to our heart. We're talking about female entrepreneurships in education technologies, and how can we, and the gender divide. So maybe we'll start with Yasmin.
Hi.
Yasmin started a company a year and a half ago, called Frizzl, right? Focus on teaching girls how to code. Maybe, Yasmin, can you share with us what motivated you to start up this company?
So that's loud. So I started studying computer science at the Hebrew University 5 years ago. And when I started studying there, I noticed that there's not a lot of other female students. I come from a family of 3 sisters. I'm the youngest, and both my sisters are also programmers. I really think that every woman can enjoy this field, and I think the field is missing like a lot of very talented women that doesn't even consider going and studying computer science. And I decided that I want to start a nonprofit to teach middle school girls how to code. So that was my first venture, and with another female students, we built this nonprofit in which students from the university teach middle school girls how to code, and then we switched also for a for-profit, a digital platform to teach code, and our motivation is just to bring more women to this field and to show every girl that she can do it, and that it's a possibility for her.
Thank you. So, Amalia, you've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs, female and male entrepreneurs, and you're working also closely with Yasmin. Can you tell us from your experience, is there any differences between female entrepreneurs, male entrepreneurs, from your experience?
So, of course, it's a generalization, but you can see patterns. Saki said, I like money. Women don't say they like money. When Yasmin approached me with her partner told me, look, we are doing well in our non-profit. I don't want to lose it. And Yasmin said, we won't lose it. We will make money and we'll do good. And it was a breakthrough. And for her partner, it was harder. And it's not just Yasmin and her partner. I feel that women are more focused on product, on making good, and they forget sometimes that the first thing that they need in order to be sustainable and profitable and fundable is to make money out of it. And it changes. The first thing that you need to think is who is your customer, and then how to make the product fit to them. This is one thing. The good thing about women, though, is that we are humble to speak unless we feel professional. That's why we learn a lot. So if I need to measure the learning curve of women entrepreneurs as compared to men entrepreneurs, women are really much faster. And I think we can see that also with the data that shows that women-led startups are more profitable, show better ROI, more productivity. It's not my feeling. This is research-based. I think these are the main issues.
Michal, you've started a company. In the beginning, you didn't want it to be included in education technologies. You say it took you a long time to figure it out that you actually need EdTech. You have a company called Symbolab that is a great tool for teaching math. And I was wondering from your experience, is there a different way in learning math? Is there a gender differences? And from your experience, having also a boy and a girl, you can also share from your home experience.
Yes, I think that the differences are, math is hard for kids because math is all about self-confidence. And what we see in young ages and what we see today, and that's part of the problem, is that boys are more confident than girls. So when we're losing girls in math, because in the first grade, second grade, the girls are doing much better, and then somewhere along the line, the girls we're kind of losing them in math. And one of the reasons is the confidence. Math is built of layers, building blocks, and if they're not sure about one component, they don't feel confident about themselves, and they're sure that they're not good in math. And then the anxiety starts and all the problems. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve exactly this problem, to help them gain their confidence by helping them solve any math problems with the steps. And we do know that even though girls have more problems, the first to use the tool are boys. Although they're more confident, they were also looking for tools faster to help them grow. But now it's evenly used. We have 90 million users, so it's...
Yes, you mentioned you have 90 million users all over the world, but you did not raise any funds. How did you make it?
I'm coming from the search world, and we just used SEO. You need to be bold and you have to think outside the box. Because
Make it sound really simple, but it's not.
Well,
did you try to raise funds?
Yes, actually I've worked with Amalia, and the thing was that all the VCs take so long. They talk to you like for a month because they want to make sure, especially in the ed tech, they want to make sure that it's the right direction and it's, the monetization is right and everything. And by the time you start talking to them, our growth rate was so huge. I think we started, I don't remember how many millions we had, and by the time we ended the discussion, it was like close to 30 million, so it was kind of irrelevant. And the whole discussion was going to change, and we didn't need the money anymore.
So there's lack of finance for education technologies here in Israel?
I'm sorry?
There's lack of finance for education technology, or the process is just way too long?
I think it's just a long process. That's what I've experienced compared to other fields, because I'm coming from the finance field. My other startup was in the finance world, and it's a different pace. Yes.
Saki, you mentioned before that you sold your house, and you put $1.3 million on 43 credit cards. How did you have the guts?
So I would say that for me it was, and I really tried to tell everybody else, if you could deal with not making it, then you could be a winner. So first I wanted to make sure that I could lose $1.3 million. I'm not sure I was able to, but you know, what will I do? Can I eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches for the rest of my life? You know, can I live in a basement for the rest of my life until I pay it back? And for me, it was okay. My goal was, you know, to do something I really wanted, and I felt when I'm in the nursing home eating a smashed banana, that what I remember, that I actually did it. Yes.
How did you raise the funds, and when did you raise it?
So for me, I raised the fund after I actually had customers. I wanted to make sure few things that are important. If you are the CEO, you should know who is your customers. You know, how will they pay? What will they pay from? Is it a must-have or a nice-to-have? What happened if the economy changed? So make sure you know how to read a P&L. So I wanted to make sure they actually knew who the customers, what will they buy. So I actually had 3 very good customers, New York City, DC, and Chicago.
The most difficult schools in the country.
Yes, they are. And at that point, I raised money.
And you told us an interesting story about comments that you received when you actually raised the money. Can you share with us?
Sure. So first, I want to make sure everybody knows women are better. You know, we are better than any man. So I think that naturally we are leaders. You know, if you think about all your homes, you know, they usually, you know, who takes care of, you know, any holiday, who takes care of, you know, who makes sure it's run. So we're just good. when I raised my first time when I raised my money, I had a comment of, actually second time I was Series B. So the guy said, Saki, I know you're going to do so well, but how do I know you're not actually taking the money and going shopping? And my comment was, we actually are going. There are 7 girls downstairs in the Limor, and we are going shopping. So there was one comment. You don't hear it every day, but you do hear it.
And you remember it.
Absolutely.
The rest of your life.
Absolutely. I had another comment, actually a year ago. I sat in the room with 10 people, and a guy looks at me and said, Saki, you made more money than I did. It's not because you're smarter. It's just because you're lucky. And my answer was, I took $1, and I said, when I spend it, it doesn't matter if it's lucky or smart. So money is good. Go for it.
A lot of times when talking about technologies, we usually talk about impact. I have to say I've been to the ASU GSV conference in San Diego, and I heard the word impact so many times that at one point I decided that it's actually the wrong way to promote a whole sector just based on impact. Since, Amalia, you are in the area of raising funds and you're working on, and you have a VC that is going to invest in companies, what are the most important things that you view when you are investing in companies and education technologies? And you actually mentioned that before, that you don't want to call it technologies, you actually want to call it talent technologies.
Yeah, right. So actually, we're calling it a talent tech company, VC, sorry. And what we mean that we look for solutions that solve the ever-growing skills gap based on technology, of course. And we believe it affects lifelong learners, enterprises, economies, and it's a huge problem that affects women, elderly people, learners, students, and it's not only in K-12 space. Actually, our thesis is that the change will come top-down from corporates, that they invest more. But coming back to your questions regarding impact, so we are a VC that has 2 legs, one in the US and one in Israel. We're really working closely for the past, I think, 4 years, partially beginning it was advisors of our former vehicle, now we're equal partners. And I can say that there is differentiation between countries. All of us agreed that we should go for the for-profit. We're doing impact. No question about it, even if it affects elderly people or workers, the employees that will lose their jobs, no question regarding that. But I want to be able to attract the most successful entrepreneurs. I want to see those who are looking to make money because they will move faster. And I don't want them to be occupied in measuring impact, which is sometimes tangible, and it's another constraint, or they're moving fast forward, and it's, in many cases, it's about time to market. So I want to be able to enable them to run faster. So I know that I'm doing impact. I don't call myself an impact investor.
Yasmin, I think you're the only one here who don't have a family yet. But most women have families, and they're very much involved in raising their kids, and sometimes raising their husband as well. And is this, you think, an obstacle that that hold women back when they want to penetrate the market, or want to, establish new companies, from your experience and from seeing your sister around you?
Yes, I definitely believe that the only way for women to enter business and have more like a equal part of the business world today and the industry is by having like an equal partner that is sharing with you, not only like supporting you and helping you succeed, but also at home believes that it's something that is your partners in everything that you do. And by that, allowing you to really enter this industry. So definitely, I think that's the biggest change that I see that should happen, because today it's still something that I feel with my friends and everyone that is around me, even though that I'm young and my friends are like now getting married. So everyone is still having this issue of how can I succeed at work and also raise my kids. And it's something that I hear from my friends, but not from the guys. So the fact that it's still an issue and still the biggest challenge, I think that's like pretty sad that today it's still the main thing that we are addressing and struggling about, and I think that should be the next change in what we're the discussion. The main part of the discussion should be about that, I believe.
Saki, what do you think about it? You have 3 girls, and what kind of word would you like to leave them when it comes to balancing family, work life?
So, you know, we actually had a short conversation on Sunday, and thank you for that. I think that, you know, you have to do what you love. And some of us love to stay home with kids, so that's perfectly fine. I'm always afraid that we're going to go all the way to the other side, that we're actually pushing, you know, women not to work. And I just think that you should make enough money and don't make anybody else do what they don't want to do, but, you know, ensure that you have what you need at home, because you can't be in 2 places at the same time. So you can't be at home and at work at the same time. At the same time, we have to stop being uncomfortable about saying, I'm going home to pick up my child. I could tell you, all of you, if you hear from somebody at work that they go home because they have to go on a trip or dinner with a client or playing golf, they're probably going home for their kids. Or we're just not comfortable enough to use our children as a reason why we go home. So this must change. How to do it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we all struggle with trying to balance, or maybe being less guilty about trying to balance our work and life. But I think in education technologies, this could be as an advantage, because most of us women are also very much involved with our family and raising our family, raising our community. And especially in education technologies, there is an advantage, inherent advantage that we can bring and that we can use in establishing companies that will definitely do impact, but will also make money and bring tools that kids and workforce need around us.
So sure. So one, I would say, and going back, is we have to start with our young girls, and it's okay to, you know, first talk about money, explain how you make money, how many people make money. If you're good at it, please go after it, raise your head. So, you know, I think that it's important to talk about it. I think it's important to, and definitely there are many jobs that have flexibility, and it's perfectly, you know, it's awesome. I think if you're the entrepreneur and you're the one that's starting a company, then regardless what the sector, you just work 20 hours. It's just regardless of where you are, it's, you know, you feel it. So I'm not sure that, you know, the flexibility is there, but, you know, definitely we have to, you know, we have to remember who we are, what we want to do, and try to combine it.
Michal, you mentioned before that in many junctions in your life, you were the only woman, the only engineer woman in the table.
Yes.
And the question is like, what are the barriers, and how can we have more women around the table in education technologies or just in general in technologies, because we still miss them. And I think yesterday there was a research that was published saying about the Tel Aviv ecosystem that we still, in terms of female entrepreneurs, the percentage of female entrepreneurs is much lower here compared to other places in Europe and United States. So what are the barriers, and how can we actually fix those barriers?
I think we have to educate women and to show them that they can speak up. They shouldn't be afraid not to fail and not be afraid of anything, and to think big, to dream big. And this is something that we should start in kindergarten. In kindergartens, you can see that the girls are expected to behave nicely and to just sit and draw, or just activity that is more quiet and not as proactive, and boys are allowed to be more wild. So I think it should start very early.
Amalia, yes.
Yeah. So I think it's not only the kindergarten, it's along the value chain. And I think, if we're talking about schools, I think the pedagogy is different. We like cooperation, we don't like competitions. military service, the same. I see my daughters, I have twin daughters in the army now, going to courses that are making the effort to bring girls inside. The pedagogy is starting to change, but it's not there yet. Men talks above our hand. We should tell them that. I have my experience with my partners. We are both are not young. I think we have more than 20 years of career in the workforce. I think the first time that he noticed, I showed him that this is the case, that people refers to my question as his questions, he was shocked. But once he paid attention, he's correcting them, and even if he's crystallizing my ideas now, he's telling that, and I think it's important. I think we can learn from other experiences. Look at Stanford University that completely changed the pedagogy of their computer science course in order to bring more women to the course. Begins with content. They allowed them to take dual courses in order to mitigate the risk, because we have the precision that we are not going to succeed in computer science, so at least we have another one. They're working from design point of view in teams. And I think this is what the uniqueness about what Frizzl is doing, by the way. And also, I think from investment standpoint, we all know about familiarity bias. It's very easy to pick somebody that resembles yourself, and you can trust him. You have the common languages. I think we need to see more women in the VC world as investors. 8% of women partners, not general partners, in the top 100 VCs in the States. It's really a shame. And even less entrepreneurs, 2.2 women-led startups in the US. It's really a place to improvement, and we need communities. We need places to network. We need to help each other, and I think we see the beginning of that nowadays. We understand the awareness is doing also its job.
So, Amalia, you mentioned the lack of finance directed for female entrepreneurs. You mentioned sometimes the lack of diversity in many companies and the need to change it. You also mentioned that even the army, which is a very important mobile force, social mobile force here in Israel, was trying to attract women to learn more and take more science courses, eventually still thinks in a very male way and focus more on competition and less on cooperation, which is one way of attracting more girls. Saki, from your point of view, what can we do to try and change the situations? Is there anything that we need to work together with the industry to make a difference, especially in education technologies?
So I think that, first, I like what we started to do, and you started, you're leading it, have a place for people to actually ask questions without, worrying that somebody might think that they're stupid or what is the question. So I think that's one. I think that we should really try to really expose girls to a lot more opportunities. They should know what's out there. Many of them think that it's, one size fits all, and as you said, they're not familiar with, they see somebody they're not comfortable with. When I was working at AT&T, I thought you had to be a bitch in order to be successful, and, I tried to, so. Yeah, absolutely. There was a different era. You thought you can't be nice. And I think that what female bring to leadership is actually the integrity, the being nice, the being soft, the, combining it with, if you're smart and able to lead. So I think we need to explain it. It doesn't go, it's not one size fits all. You don't have to be in a men's club in order to be successful. And maybe we should make some women's club, but really we're not about that. We're not about separating. We're actually about understanding that we could be good and different. And I think it brings, a lot of value to the workplace. So, I think exposure is good. I think we should show more and more different businesses, what type of businesses, what you need to know. Girls don't know, what do I need to know? What is the path? And I think that's important. We had a slide today that showed, a bigger view of, trying to get there. But I think that seeing it makes people excited. And then I think we should get some excited about making money. Good.
Sound good. So we just started this discussion, and we hope to create more opportunities for women to engage with one another, to network, and especially assist and support one another. This is not a woman club. This is something that we want to do together with men, which I think eventually will get more women engaged in startups, more women engaged in establishing their own companies. So I want to thank my wonderful partners to this discussion. And I invite you all to engage with us and talk to us, and hopefully we can make a better board together. Thank you.